Yo, 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 what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 522. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo, yo, yo.
And Brian Manjoma.
What's up? What's up?
All right, guys, we're back with another one. Adam said he might be a little late. He's cheating on us again with doing another podcast. And we don't know what's going on with Richard Bailey Jr. So hopefully he'll show up. Richard usually gives us a heads up about what's happening, but he didn't tell us nothing. So, hopefully everything's all right. I was just talking to him earlier today because I have a chat group with me, him, Reggie, and Gary. Reggie's a character, man. Like, I'm not going to divulge stuff, but he is like, and Reggie, if you're listening, I hope you are listening to this. He's like one of those kids that gets so excited to ask you questions, he doesn't pay attention to your answers. He's been asking me a slew of questions about a specific game that I can't talk about, and I answer him, but then he asks me the same question again, or sometimes he doesn't understand the question, and he admits, he's like, oh, I'm reading too fast. I'm like, I'm excited. I'm like, read slower then. Like, just read slower, you're still in Streets of Rage category. Not over here. I changed the fucking update title, but I'll do it again. But it doesn't matter because we will update that later. Anyway, back with the end of the show. We got some questions. So let's get into it, man. No rest for the wicked, I should say. Illustrated Dio. I had to edit this one out because your question was a little bit rambly. Real talk, it was a little rambly, so I just stilled it. What is the future of Xbox? Will it continue on its current course with Game Pass and console releases become completely third-party or be absorbed into Microsoft Gaming? It could be a combination of the last two, man. They'll go third-party and become Microsoft Gaming. It may not even be an Xbox brand anymore. I mean, speculation, but that's the way it seems like right now, But at least for the rest of this generation, it'll be Game Pass / a console. And we kind of have a question that's related to the console bit. But yeah, what do you guys think will be the ultimate future of Xbox?
Ultimate future of Xbox, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I agree with that. I think they're gonna get rid of the Xbox brand itself. They'll do this next console. Well, it makes sense to roll it to Microsoft Gaming, especially if they're already third party, right? They're just gonna lean into just distributing their stuff on as many platforms as possible. The whole this is an Xbox thing that's temporary, right? That's their system sales have cratered. They'll put out another system. We'll see how that does. But after that, I think they're done. They have cloud. They have multi-platform support now. They're even promoting PlayStation on their in their shows now. Yeah, as a system to play on. So, what's the point? So you don't need the Xbox brand anymore. It's just be Microsoft Gaming or Microsoft Game Studios, whatever they decide to call it. And that's it,
Yeah. And to your point, think about it. Some of the guys in the chat were talking about this like it recently happened. No, this happened like 2 years ago. Phil Spencer's official title is head of Microsoft Gaming. It kind of tells you, remember, he was the head of Xbox. Now he's the head of Microsoft Gaming. So I think that's pretty much going to be the future. It's just going to get absorbed. And again, we got a question later on about this where we could kind of go a little bit deeper. But yeah, they're already effectively a third party company. Like we talked about on the Thursday show, how they kind of weirdly found themselves in that spot without trying to do that. Like when they bought Activision, that sealed the deal. They were so. And Chris, I want your take on that because you weren't here on Thursday. Basically, Colin Moriarty, who we're not the biggest fans of, he put out a really good video talking about how basically Microsoft, they probably were gonna hoard Call of Duty and those titles for themselves. But then when the FTC came in, it kind of forced them to go put those games out on other systems, which effectively then made them go, fuck, we may as well just put everything out on other systems now. So they kind of weirdly found themselves in the spot they didn't necessarily want to be in.
That's interesting. I thought the discovery from the FTC case was that they were going to put Call of Duty on PlayStation and honor their contracts. So I don't.
So you might be wrong about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the discovery from the case was that they were going to honor those things. So Jim Ryan was completely full of shit on that. I remember we talked about that. And the discovery was that they were planning to honor the contracts, the 10-year agreements, multi-platform support, continuing multi-platform agreements with Sony, and so I don't. So I don't agree with him there, but. Honestly, either way they get data from the sales, right? From Activision products. Now they have access to all that. They own it, so they can see where most people are gathering, playing, where the most engagement is, where the most sales is. And it's probably on Sony. So, it's a no-brainer that they're like, okay, we got to open up more stuff there as well. They're already on PC. I mean, Windows is still dominant on PC, so. They have that. They have Xbox, but the Xbox is kind of losing steam, so they need to pick up the pace. And how do you increase Game Pass sales too? You offer it on PlayStation. Yeah, there's more people. So.
But obviously, like we've talked about before, if you do ever release Game Pass on PlayStation, it'll have to be a modified version because you know what I'm saying, like. Why would they have third-party games as part of Game Pass when you can just buy them off PlayStation? So it would have to be modified if that ever happens. But the part I'm kind of understand where he's coming from. It's like their end goal wasn't to be a third-party developer, like necessarily. Like like I know we talked about how they want to have like. Xbox on everything because they are software, but they still probably wanted you to mainly play on a console. But now Phil Spencer have flat out said, we're not worried about that anymore. We're not worried about selling. He flat out said, we are not worried about bringing PlayStation and Nintendo people over to Xbox. We're just going to go to them.
Right. Yeah, so I agree with part of what he said. Yeah. It wasn't Call of Duty that was the tipping point, but the overall... Looking at Activision once they acquired it and seeing where people were playing, that probably tipped their hand. Because I don't think they were planning to hoard it in the first place. I think the discovery proved that. But where that was true, right? They acquired Bethesda, and they were, initially it was like Starfield's going to be exclusive. All the new titles were going to be exclusive to Xbox, and now that's changed, right? So they were in that mindset. Pre-Activision, but post that has changed a lot, and the survival of a lot of their titles is going to depend on multi-platform support. Although I don't have faith in a lot of those titles. Somebody was looking at the Fable trailer the other day, and I was like, oh god, I forgot.
Yeah, that might be a worse disaster than Avowed. Because that's not doing so well either. Despite what some people may tell you. But yeah, we'll have to see. It's going to be very interesting. I feel very sorry for the Xbox fanboys. They no longer have that thing to, latch onto. All right, another one from Mr. Dio. Will PlayStation's new Japanese-based leadership raise the brand's quality? Hopefully, a lot of the stuff that Jim Ryan, I know some of you guys are fans of Jim Ryan. But
he's your buddy and he pays your taxes.
Yeah, I know some of you guys are buddies with Jim Ryan, but he didn't really do a lot of good for the company in the end. Like I should say, he didn't do good for the long term. Like he did well enough to maintain the money coming in, but again, he kind of had it easy because everybody was like locked indoors. Xbox was shitting the bed. Sony was the only natural place to go if you wanted gaming. Adult gaming, grown man gaming, So that's why I don't want to give him too much credit, but I am very glad, and we are all glad he's gone. And I hope this, the new Japanese people, like the first thing they do is like get PlayStation's headquarters back to Tokyo, get it out of San Mateo. That's the first thing that needs to happen. All that culture leaked into there. Obviously, we don't need that shit. So hopefully that'll happen, and then hopefully they'll they're not gonna revive Japan studio, obviously, but hopefully they'll be like, hey, we kind of need those type of games too. Remember, that was Jim Ryan's thing where he was like, we just want to focus on the big AAA games. They said that. So hopefully Sony knows, hey, remember we used to do these other type of games too. They didn't make a lot of money, but they made enough,
Well, I mean, you look at Astrobot, and that was essentially what would be considered a low budget game, especially looking at the size of their team, which was only 65 people.
Yeah. So why not more games like that,
Why not more games where you're not spending a huge amount of money? You can they can most definitely bolster their titles. They don't need to just, they don't need to do like where they're essentially filling in the gaps with a bunch of independent games. You can develop AA titles.
Yeah. I agree with that. So yeah, hopefully, it'll be good. And then, the live service stuff, we got to talk about that. Remember, Sony announced 12 live service games. As far as I know, I think there's only one left, Marathon. Because because there were two left, and then the other one, I'm forgetting the name of it, is already like not coming out or heavily delayed or something.
Oh, is it Fair Games?
Yeah, Fair Games. Yes, Fair Games. What's happening with that? Was that delayed or canceled? Or
yeah, it's delayed. It's 2026 now.
So the only one that's like confirmed is Marathon. So all that initiative went out the window, didn't it? So yeah, hopefully these guys could kind of steer the ship right. And like you said, Manny, go back to your roots, man. I want to say this. I was watching this really interesting video about why Capcom, in their opinion, and I agree with this opinion, why Capcom is the best game developer or studio right now. We never talked about this. We always talk about when the recession happened and all this other stuff, how Nintendo was the only one that stayed afloat. Who was the other one? Capcom. You didn't hear about Capcom losing any fucking studios any money because they did the same thing Nintendo did. Hey, we got all this extra money. Cool. Let's just put it into our games. No
business as usual.
Business as usual, and give the fans what they want. Look what happened with, for example, Street Fighter V. They were like, okay, we can't have that again. And now Street Fighter 6 is the most successful Street Fighter since 2, because they listened to the fans. They, hey, we want to remake a Resident Evil 4. Here you go. And hopefully Capcom keeps listening. Give motherfuckers Dino Crisis. They brought back. We were once talking about how like Capcom needs to come back with their fighting games. They're strong now. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, all this other stuff. Like Capcom is doing great. So I would love for PlayStation to do what Capcom's doing. Focus on bringing back the IPs that people love, and don't push bullshit on those fucking like titles. Keep the essence, So hopefully the new management will do that,
Manny,
yeah, go ahead.
And he's listening to you. He's like, but get rid of all that RPG shit from God of War.
Yeah, bring it back to its roots. Bring
it back to its roots.
Listen, I said this right when the new God of War came out. I said that this, and I still believe that the series needed that kind of shift because it was kind of getting like long in the tooth. Now we're kind of done with this new shit. Let's go back to the original. Sometimes you got to take a break and you go back. And we're solely missing hack and slash games. So, and we're slowly seeing them come back. So, God of War could kind of spearhead that as well. Yeah, bring back God of War to its original form. We're already hearing rumors that the next game may be young Kratos again, not Dad Toast. And bring back Jack and Daxter, bring back Sly Cooper, bring back all these franchises people used to love. Like stop with the bullshit. So hopefully, yeah, the new management will do that, because again, PlayStation has mostly been doing great this generation because they've had absolutely no competition, like Xbox shit the bed. So what else are you gonna get? You're gonna get a PlayStation. Simple as that. Yeah, I know. Square Enix, man, they need to get their shit together too.
Oh, yeah.
They've been fucking up. Yeah,
I mean, they sold half of their developers.
Mm-hmm.
Or the IDOs.
They said, "Fuck it, we're done." So yeah, we'll see what happens with PlayStation. It's still too early, but we have hope. We have hope. Jim Ryan's gone. That's already a good thing. That's already a good thing. All right, moving on. Jolly Yellow Nerd, who is also joining us in the chat tonight, got a couple questions from the homie. With Microsoft effectively going third party and pushing Game Pass as its delivery system, what effect will that have on its relationship with other third party companies? Why would a company release games on Xbox if that system is basically irrelevant? Chris, you were talking about this just a little while ago. If you're Capcom, why the fuck would you bother putting your games on Xbox?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no point. Like, we already saw. Go ahead, Carlos. Go ahead.
It's all about the new plan, which is, and they've already kind of succeeded in that, is being the biggest publisher in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They now publish more games or sell more games than anyone else now with Call of Duty in their bag. So the other third parties, I think it's kind of irrelevant now, as long as only if they want to be on Game Pass, if they want that Game Pass boost. But yeah, as far as putting them into their system, I think that's after this, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, especially when Microsoft itself said we're not worried about bringing PlayStation and Nintendo people over to Xbox. They don't care. They've acquiesced. So if you're a third-party developer, why would you bother? So it's a good question. We'll have to see what happens now that they're. But again, they still haven't said the magic words, right, Manny? We are third party.
Yep, they haven't said it yet, and I don't think they are, because I feel like I think that people just lose their mind as soon as that would happen.
Even though all their actions are telling people that they're third party, it's just people need to hear it. I have an analogy, but it'll get us banned, so I'm not going to use it. But it's like, yeah, I'm not going to use it. It's like your actions speak louder than your words, bro. But people need to hear the words. And when that happens, I will be on Twitter all day laughing. Tim Dog will come back just to yell about that, Oh, man. But yeah, we'll have to see. All right. Next up here, another one from Mr. Jolly Yellow Nerd. With Microsoft looking to apply its AI model Muse to gaming, are we only a few years away from DLC and expansions of games, not just Microsoft's, but those of other developers, being made entirely by AI? Yes, and I don't like it. I'm not happy about this. So I think that's... Yeah, go ahead, Chris. What's your thoughts?
We're a few years away from probably entire games being made from AI. Look at there was the Grok 3 launch, and XAI is actually hiring people. They formed a game studio. So that's gonna expand and catch on. And believe me, again, I always say there's so much money in it. Microsoft's throwing a ton of money at this stuff. And Manny was talking about 3 Mile Island again. They're gonna build that giant data center, and they're gonna turn on 3 Mile Island to power it.
Yeah.
So there's too much money in it. They're all in on it. It's kind of scary. We'll see what happens, but yeah, it opens up a lot of questions on the future of game development and how much people will be involved in that.
Yeah, and Chris, since you're here, because you weren't here on the Thursday show, what are your thoughts about Phil Spencer saying that they could use AI for game preservation? We all call that bullshit, but what do you think?
Game preservation? Doesn't make sense. What does he mean by that? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, he didn't go into detail, but the way I kind of think of it is like, if you have a game that is on hardware that's no longer available, maybe AI could generate a version of the game that's compatible with current hardware. But it seems like pie in the sky stuff to me,
Yeah, that's odd. It seems like you could already do that, leverage emulation in your cloud architecture to do that. Why would you need AI to do that?
Because
You
there's
have the- you
Microsoft
have
and
the
they sell
game.
this shit because they've spent billions and billions of dollars. That's why, you know.
Well, I mean, sell it on the merits that it can provide you unique experiences with every gameplay, right? So if they did like, like either procedurally generated game or a game like Returnal or something, but it's like, hey, but every experience is different and your choices really matter. It's not a Mass Effect shit.
Yeah.
It's like really like your conversations matter, how people react to you. And we talked about this a long time ago on Throwdown. We were talking about DeepMind, right?
Yeah.
It beat the best Go player in the world, and I was saying back then that it was gonna get to the point where that you would have not NPCs anymore. You would have AI just be able to fill in all these people, and they would all react or almost organically to problems. Right? They're not gonna just run into gunfire if you're having a fight in the street with like in GTA. They're gonna either run away or they're gonna pull out a gun too, or what they're gonna react completely differently. And then you can have enemies react in that way too, that they're much smarter. And then it seems like now that it's way beyond that now. They're just talking about building the whole fucking thing and even having game engines being generated on the fly, that they're not cemented anymore. It's not like, oh, you're just leveraging Unreal or you're leveraging RE Engine or whatever, Unity. No, they're talking about the AI just generating all that shit on the fly for you depending on what you want to play, which is nuts.
Yeah, no, it's insane. By the way, Blitz says, looking forward to the rise of handcrafted games. Jeff will have to add in best AI games at the TGAs. Man. Yeah, Carlos, you have any thoughts, bro?
Yeah, I agree with Chris on, some of the possibilities with AI in games and how it actually could be a beneficial thing to video games. Like Chris mentioned with NPCs just not being maybe like 10 different case statements of what they would do in certain situations. Instead, it's sort of more of a almost infinite ways they can react, and essentially just making a game unique for everyone. But on the other side, it's not as curated as someone who has a vision of a story. It changes that, so it's out of their hands at that point. Or maybe it can be programmed how they sort of different types of branches they can react to. It's just interesting how all that can take place in terms of AI in video games. Creating full video games. I don't see that happening anytime soon. Maybe in 10 years. But the thing that worries me the most with this is just, and it sounds cheesy, but and then we're kind of losing it now too. But are video games going to have a soul?
Yeah, you're right, because we're already asking that question now. Then when AI steps in, like you pretty much remove the human element.
Yeah,
I agree with what Carlos is saying.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. I think, like Hollywood, especially Disney, is already leveraging this for writing. I've seen 5 different video reviews of Captain America, right, the Brave New World movie, and every person in there, they're not a part of a group or part of one publication or anything. These are all independent guys. All said like scenes seemed like they were written by AI. They all came to that conclusion, like, hey, the writing in this is fucking weird. You could tell, right? Like something is wrong with it, like the way the dialogue is shaped. And even if you have a person speak it, it's weird, right? So you're gonna have that problem with visuals and games too. You're gonna have just if you let the AI just completely compose it, it's like, hey, this map doesn't make any sense. What this guy said doesn't make any sense. Like eventually it'll probably get better, but you're gonna have this awkward period. Those first launch titles, like, oh, this is 100% AI, and then you'll be like, well, this is like a fever dream, right? It's not like I'm playing like some kind of coherent thing. I think that'll be a problem early on, but I don't think that's 10 years out. I think that's like 5-6 years out, and then by 10 years it'll be like way better. The way that they're accelerating all the the models and the learning and the reasoning and all this stuff is like insane.
Here's another thing, and it's kind of interesting, but getting into all this conversation. But if we ever get to the point where AI is capable enough to develop video games, why the hell do we even need to pay or buy for video games? Why at that point we can create our own video games? Let's just put our own put our own tokens into ChatGPT or Grok or fucking Gemini and let it create a video game for us. At that point it's sort of like we're just paying for the AI thing to make the game for us, and that's I don't know about that, man. I mean, if we do get to the point where AI can create video games, it's inevitable that not that far after that we are able to create video games like it's nothing.
Yeah,
just using the same models they are.
That would be great if that happens, because that'll be a good way for us to stick it to them. Okay, you took away our games, then fuck you. We're gonna make our own. Yeah. Yeah, it's that'll be the greatest irony. It's like they wanted to make these AI games, and in the end, they start losing their businesses because people no longer need them anymore. And you could have stopped that by not making games with fucking AI. But no matter how you slice it, this is all just going to be very, very bad. It's going to lead to a disaster. But you know what? Fuck it. Do it. Go ahead. Please do it. Let it all burn. You're going to deserve it when it fucking happens. So please go ahead. Make AI
I'm pretty
games.
Sure Kojima predicted this somehow.
Well, obviously he did. Kojima predicted everything, So yeah.
That was all, that was way back. Metal Gear Solid 2, I still think about that shit.
Yeah, man.
It was AI Ed memes were in there. I'm like, what?
Yeah, fake news,
Yeah, fake news.
Like, he got everything right. Fuck. Jolly Yellow Nerd, I think to address what will keep gamers from making their own AI games will be game companies defending use of AI and the IPs they own. What if you just make your own IP? You don't need their shit anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also if you're not selling it, like,
you're not
how are they going to stop
you?
If you're just like, hey, I'm playing this shit, I'm sharing it with my friends. Like, I didn't sell it.
The thing about this is that, like, a lot of this this generation is not a full. It's only generating the look, at least for now. They're saying, "Oh yeah, we just we got it the gameplay to look." It's like, no, you didn't get the gameplay. You're pretty much you're just creating the look of, or the illusion of whatever this is, and there's no underpinning to it.
Yeah. What was the game they used as to underpin it? Actually, it was that failed Ninja Theory game. Like, out of all games, you're gonna use that.
Edge.
Yeah, Bleeding Edge.
Yeah,
like, okay.
Yeah, they used Bleeding Edge to train it. Yeah. Like, okay, you trained it on Bleeding Edge. What does that mean?
Yeah. It means stupidity. That's what it means. I don't like any of this, man.
It means the technology on that game is at the bleeding edge.
It's hot fire. Yeah. Bleeding Edge, man. By the way, shout out to Richard Bailey Jr., who joined us under the cover of night. Hope you're doing well, Rich.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sorry for the delay.
It's all good,
been a very crazy evening.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, by the way, not to go off topic too much, Rich, but I said this at the beginning of the show, so I'll say it again.
Yeah.
And I think he's in the chat right now. I was just telling him how Reggie has been very interesting and entertaining today.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, so shout out to Reggie. Yeah, like I said, he's like a kid who's excited to ask you so many questions, but he doesn't pay attention to what you tell him with the answers. So it's like, all right, bro. They used Bleeding Edge because AI couldn't make it worse. Oh, man. That's brutal. All right, man, let's move on. Assyrian Air Force. So Assyrian Air Force, I'm going to skip your GPU question because that's out of the scope of this podcast. We could obviously answer it, but basically we would need to delve into company strategies between AMD and Intel and NVIDIA. This is a video game podcast. I know you need graphics cards for video games and shit, but that's outside the scope of this, so we'll leave that. Maybe you could ask us that for the AMA shows for sure, but not for the main one. So hope you understand. But this next one is kind of still in the GPU term, but within our wheelhouse. Although it's a very interesting question. He goes, which company has more outrageous pricing? Sony with the PS5 Pro at $699, or Nvidia with its RTX 50 graphics cards that aren't sold at MSRP? It is apples to oranges, dude. Like they're two completely different things. Like when you spend $700 on that system, you're getting the entire system. You can play your game versus a graphics card that you need to build an entire PC around. Very different thing,
Yeah, like if you're buying a $1,000 graphics card, if that's just $1,000 graphics card, you still need to buy everything else around it.
Yeah, so it's not really a fair question because it's not the same. It's like what's more overpriced, this car or this PlayStation? It's like, wait, what? Like, I don't know, but what I'm saying? It's like it's weird.
It's like what's more overpriced, this Honda Civic with a V4 or this V12 engine?
Yeah, it's like
just the engine.
Yeah, engine. Yeah, you're right. Yes, you're right. You're right. What's more overpriced, the car or the engine? Yeah. So it's not really analogous, But I know he's very upset about the pricing of these graphic cards because you actually can't get them at MSRP, But this is something you kind of have to unfortunately deal with because Nvidia didn't make enough,
You know what? You know what? I mean, one thing I don't see, and I know obviously it's all talking about the new stuff, but how is it? Like, isn't there a market for older graphics cards?
Yeah.
Like besides just like you have the whole the high ends, but like what does their other catalog look like? For like a more reasonably priced.
Oh, it's there, and those cards are the ones that actually sell. Somebody did a Steam. We talked about this too on Steam. They released like what graphics cards do most people use. Most people use like a 3070, 3080, bro.
No, it's 3060.
3060. So there you go. So basically, when you have new graphics cards, it's FOMO. That's why people are paying $6,000 on eBay and shit. It's all FOMO.
Yeah, but I mean,
the majority of people are not buying those graphics cards. They're buying the reasonable stuff.
I figured that, but like, can you go on their website currently and buy one of those older cards?
Well, typically what they do is they kind of send you to their partners.
Okay, yeah. But I mean, like, despite that, like, you go to their partners, can you buy one of those? A couple of those older generations.
Of course, back? Yeah, you could buy them.
Are we just stuck in like? Hey,
No. You could buy old graphics cards. You could still buy them. You're
besides
good.
On eBay.
Yeah, no, not on eBay. I'm talking about at actually regular places. Yeah,
Amazon, Newegg, you can buy those there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, but Manny, I like that question because I'm pretty sure other people are asked that too. They probably think you can only buy the new graphics cards when that is not the case. You could buy the older ones at regular places. You could buy them,
Nvidia's not Nintendo. They're not pulling the 30 series or the 40 series off the shelves. Like, get those out of here.
Yeah.
More cards. I mean, I feel like I don't know. Maybe it's again because like the way all they're really advertising is all the high end stuff, but I don't know. I mean, I want to see some of the like if they did refresh one of those older ones, like I'd like to see those more than I'd like to see the fancy super graphics cards. Those are for fucking whales. Most people aren't whales.
Yeah, no, you could buy those cards and they're not hard to find either. But again, they're not the ones that are being pushed because you know how it is. It's all about the new. It's all about the new.
Yeah, it's always.
Yeah, but I'm glad you asked that question because I'm pretty sure other people think the same thing. They think they could only buy the new card. No, you buy the old stuff. You could buy the old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on here. Ooh, one of our longtime listeners asking a pair of questions, and they're not sponsored. They're actually just his own questions. Mr. Ramudeth, thank you for the questions, sir. The first one here, Tony. Ooh, this one's for me. Did you play and Reggie, I hope you're in the chat right now. There's a question. There's a question you were asking me. Pay attention. Did you play the Fatal Fury City of the Wolves beta? If so, what are your thoughts? Yes, I did play it. Actually, I wanted to talk about it on the Thursday show, but that show kind of ran a little long. So I was like, I'll save it for, in case one of our awesome fans asks us about it. So, so we're going to talk about it. So yeah, I played the beta. It's actually running until tomorrow, so I may jump in. So I'll go with the good and the bad. Good. For the most part, the online is really good. I didn't really have any issues. Like once I got connected, everything ran pretty well. There was only one match I played that the shit slowed down a lot. But generally speaking, the online is really good. The beta is very bare bones. You can only play online, and you can only do training mode. You can't do, and by training mode, not training mode, tutorial. It's just teaching you the game basics. You can't do your own tutorial. Like you can't do like practice and shit because you're gonna like this part. They didn't want to have practice mode in there because they didn't want the PC guys getting in there and hacking it and doing frame data shit. But guess what happened? Motherfuckers went in there and they made their own training mode. Not only that, but they data mined the game, and now we know the entire roster for the next couple of seasons. So some people are actually asking, maybe we shouldn't have these betas on PC, which is a little weird. Because, here's the thing. I understand it, but most fighting game fans actually not the fighting game fans. The regular fighting game fans are playing on console, but the FGC guys, they're mostly playing on PC. So that's going to be very interesting. I don't think they could get away with not putting these betas on PC. But if you put it on PC, this type of shit's going to happen. So yeah, I played it on PS5. Let me get to the good stuff. Graphics, fucking amazing. They're great. I think easily the best looking 3D SNK game. It looks a lot better than even the last King of Fighters, which itself looked really good. I like the new mechanic. It's very mechanically rich. There's so much shit going on there, So it's been kind of fun learning all that stuff. It's like taking elements from the old Garu Mark of the Wolves, some shit from Street Fighter 6, some King of Fighters stuff. The controls are really nice, although they kind of slowed down Terry, which is weird. Everybody's complaining about that. But yeah, so fun game overall. 8 characters to mess around with, 4 stages. Really good, impressive beta, but there were some problems. Like I said, the online was good when I got on. Dude, sometimes it would take a minute and a half to just find matches. I'm like, I know there's people playing. This shit's cross-play. I'm supposed to be connecting to PC, PS5, and Xbox. Takes 50 years, to find a fucking match. And then the menus for some reason have input lag. You'll press down, and then it'll 2 seconds later it'll happen. And it wasn't just me. Everybody, no matter what platform they were playing on, had this issue. So that's a little bit of a problem. But overall, I like the gameplay, like the graphics. But I hope SNK fixes that matchmaking and fix you can't be having input lag in menus, bro. That's insane. I thought my shit was fucked up, but turned out everybody had that issue. But yeah,
I mean, to be honest, it's that's what a beta's for.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah.
So I mean, I do worry that people, those initial reactions might affect people.
Yeah.
Because they don't get that it's not the full game.
Yeah, and to your point, I'm already seeing videos saying you got to delay this game. Dude, there's 2 months and this is a beta. Relax. Yeah. So people already kind of jumping the gun. But yeah,
that's also precisely why a lot of studios didn't want fans to be at places industry game shows.
Yeah,
because people in the industry obviously get that something is a beta, something's early, all that sort of stuff. So if you notice, especially as the years have gone on, when we were at E3, we saw less and less of those sorts of beta versions of games on the floor.
Yeah, they're pretty much full versions already.
Yeah.
because they don't want, because the regular people going there, they're going to start talking all this shit. And again, this is why I'm actually I'm being a lot more lenient on this beta than some of the the FTC guys, because I understand how these things work. They got 2 months. They could probably fix it. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. I had an absolute blast. I will say, if you're playing it, play casual matches. Don't play rank. Rank, you will get destroyed. The rank guys don't give a fuck, But in casuals, I was doing pretty good, overall. But yeah, go check it out. Again, we have one more day. Even if you hear this episode in the morning, you still have one more day to play the beta, And then another question from Mr. Ramudeth here. NetEase will reportedly drop many of the game studios it purchased. What are your thoughts? Manny, I'm going to you because you have some thoughts on this.
I knew this shit was going to fucking happen.
Oh, man.
Like, nobody saw this and saw how fucking weird these guys are just throwing around money all over the goddamn place. Come on. No, I knew this was going to happen. I knew something was going to, there's too much money going around. And there's too much, it just doesn't seem like it's like right. And then obviously now they decide, okay, we're just going to cut all ties with all these different companies and just leave them all to dry. Really? Have you ever heard any other company do that?
Yeah, no, it's crazy because obviously some people were thinking like, oh, this is because of the tariffs. No, they're cutting all their international shit out. Like there's a few Japanese studios in here that they're like, bye-bye, you're done.
Yeah, the guy who did Yakuza. Guy who did Yakuza
Negotiate,
Studios, High and Dry. Yeah.
A
bunch of different people. Quantic Dream is in there.
Yep, Grasshopper, Shinji Mikami's studio, yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
I just want to interject one thing. This has happened recently, Embracer.
That's right.
You can't forget about Embracer doing the same exact thing.
Embracer is pretty much the NetEase of whatever fucking country they're from,
So it's like they all of a sudden just drop all of their things. And then not to mention, you got to understand, like, Chinese companies they're kind of owned by their own government, which means that there will be suppression of information within their titles. You'll have situations like what happened with Blizzard, where let's say during somebody wins a certain thing and says something that they don't like, all of a sudden they rip the title from him. I don't know. I don't feel.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't think governments should have any say in the actual, have any stake in companies that are from their country. You know what I mean? Like, this is the same thing that we're also, they don't talk about this, but also, places like Saudi Arabia also have different sections, by their kings or whatever over there that sort of fund and do all kinds of other backdoor stuff. No other country, I mean, like, America doesn't do that, right? They're not like, okay, we've bought this movie studio, so now we're just going to make movies. Like, no, they're not. They're not even involved with that. Yeah. So I don't know. It just seems to me, if you're you shouldn't be doing that, but that's the way they work. In order to be, have a company in over there, you need to have the government fully involved, and they need to do checks and balances or whatever they need to do. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I see if this is happening, them and Tencent are two big Metal Gear Solid like explanation points to me.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. By the way, real quick, I want to read this because this is very interesting because this happened after the Thursday show. Because when we were talking about it on the Thursday show, we were talking about how they let go of the Marvel Rivals team. And then it came out, oh, they're thinking about getting rid of more than that, So anyway, previously known for its popular PC MMOs and mobile games, NetEase has expanded significantly in recent years, acquiring and establishing studios from industry veterans in Japan, North America, and Europe. However, as the game industry continues to endure turbulent times, there have been signs that in recent months, it could be scaling back its ambitions. Last month, it was confirmed NetEase had split from Vancouver-based Worlds Untold, the studio it founded with Mass Effect writer Mac Walters in 2023, as well as Seattle-based Jar of Sparks, the studio founded in 2022 by Xbox veteran Jerry Hook. Then earlier this week, it was confirmed that NetEase had laid off U.S.-based developers behind Marvel Rivals, including its director, despite the game enjoying a hugely successful launch. A NetEase spokesperson denied to VentureBeat that these cuts were part of a broad scaling back of its international game development. However, now GameFile sources claim the publisher is indeed significantly scaling back and is actively shopping around its non-Chinese studios. One of GameFile's sources claims that NetEase plans to divest itself of the majority of its overseas teams, which could lead to the closure of more than a dozen game studios if they can't secure new funding. There it is. And here's some of them right here. That would include like a Dragon designer, Toshihiro Nagoshi, Resident Evil producer Hiroyuki Kobayashi, Suda51's Grasshopper manufacturer. NetEase also set up Studio Flare, which with former Marvelous board member Toshinori Aoki and Blaze Blue Series. Damn, man, how many fucking studios did they own? God damn.
I think even Rebel Wolves is in trouble.
Yeah.
The guys from CD Projekt Red.
Oh, shit.
I think they set it up with NetEase money. And that's the problem. Like, Manny's concern is very valid. I mean, we don't trust China to begin with. Anytime we had Tencent news, I'm like, I don't trust those motherfuckers. This is no different. They're all tied to CCP. Yeah. So the minute they decide to do any type of, they could hide it. They could say it's financial reevaluation. They could say they expanded into the broad market too fast and now they have to reconcile. I don't know how you do that when you have like record sales with titles like Marvel Rivals. Unless there's some, I think it's more of a, they want to probably focus more on domestic stuff, and that maybe it's a nationalistic call because I think the head of NetEase changed, and he's a very nationalistic dude, and he I think when they were developing Marvel Rivals, he didn't even want to have the Marvel characters because he didn't want to pay Disney the license.
That's right.
He wanted it to just be a generic shooter with their own original characters. The reason it's successful though is it's because it's Marvel, right? You have the brand behind the title, and it does really well. But then what a shot to the gut when you fire the American team that was working on it, right? The title blew up out of the gate. It's doing gangbusters. So I don't buy that it's a financial restructuring. That's what Embracer did because they lost a ton of money. Yeah. They expanded into the market too quickly. They didn't count their COVID ducks before they hatched, right? And they bought too many studios. They got too broad. They had unsupervised studios just running roughshod, making just garbage, and it all came back to bite them, right? So they had to consolidate. This consolidation, though, I don't think is financial. There's something else going on, and I don't think we're getting an honest answer.
Yeah,
right. That's what I think.
No, I agree with you. And again, just as I suspected, it has to be on the CCP side because the first thing everybody did, this is because of the Trump tariffs. Then come to find out, no, it's not. You know, it's something broader. We obviously don't know exactly what it is, but something's up for sure. You know, this is why we warned about this shit. You know, go ahead, man. You don't just go ahead.
Yeah, you don't just turn it all off. Like just all of a sudden one day they all of a sudden start closing down everything. I don't know. It seems incredibly suspect to me, especially when they're a company that's supposedly doing so amazingly right now. Right?
It's crazy shit, man. You know what?
When it was when it was Embracer Group, they were just like Chris said, they were legitimately having financial issues because they expanded too quickly. I don't know about these guys.
No, I think they have enough money. It's something else that's going on. You know. All right, this question I'm moving up because it's kind of related in a way. Jay Shep, and Chris, I kind of want you to answer this one. If and when the if and when the U.S. government ramps up tariffs, will the PS6 release timeline change or be delayed? I think it's way too early to be talking about that, way too speculative, but go ahead, give it a shot.
What does he mean? Like PS6 won't be released here?
Yeah, like that's actually, I'll go first because I'm a little confused. I'm like, nobody knows when the PS6 is going to come out. If it does, obviously it's going to come out. What is 7 years after 2020? 2027, right?
Yeah.
So at the earliest, we're going to get in 2027. Whatever's happening tariff-wise now may not be as like harsh as the mainstream media is making it seem to be. And also, we don't have tariffs with Japan yet, but I do know, obviously, you get parts from China for the PS6. But again,
most manufacturing
in China,
happens in China.
But again, it's too early to talk about something that's going to happen in 2 to 3 years.
Yoshida said in one of his interviews he thinks it's going to be 28.
It could be. Yeah. So that's why I think something that's going to happen in 2 to 3 years, which would be 2027, 2028. Way too early to be talking about that. But Chris, give it a shot.
Yeah, it could. It could be tariff, but here's the thing: the U.S. market is way too big for them to forego it. Right? You're not going to forego North America. You're not going to forego the United States in terms of console and game sales. Right? It's too big of a hit to take because you don't want to pay tariffs. Right? So there's ways to circumvent the tariffs. Japan could obviously negotiate something with the United States, and even though the product is manufactured in China, it's designed in Japan. It's a Japanese product basically. So maybe they can circumvent it that way. What they could also do is just decide to we'll just put a plant in the United States and just manufacture the PS6 here. That would get around.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Isn't that what Nintendo did? Like they had a plant here in the States.
They used to. Their stuff isn't made here anymore, and there was stuff made in Japan too.
Yeah,
the DS days, but they stopped. But that could all start again. The way they get around, there's no real tariffs on Japan, and I think that either it would behoove them to either move the manufacturing to Japan, right?
Yeah.
Sony starts making consoles in Japan, then you don't have the tariff, and then you have deals with the United States, probably cut your tariffs, and then if you cut tariffs on certain things exported from the United States, then according to this reciprocal tariff thing, then the United States would cut tariffs with Japan. So you could do that or manufacture it here, right? And have a North American market and manufacture it in the United States, and that gets around the tariffs. So there's ways around it that maybe would be beneficial in the long run for everyone.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And again, I'm not an expert on tariffs and stuff, but people seem to take it as like a thing that cannot be changed. It can't. The situation can change if you have the manufacturing done here or in a country that we're more friendly with. So it's not like a thing that's like just locked in stone, But again, we are talking about something that's not going to happen for 2 or 3 years, bro. Way too early to be talking about that, So
and Mark Cerny's still getting the vegetables together. He still needs to, still needs to go into the pot to cook.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, fucking pot. Oh man, yeah. Way too early to be talking about that. All right. Next up, Mr. Toon or Michael Santiago. I think he may have been being a little cheeky with this question. Is a gaming PC a console? No, obviously not.
Oh no, he's talking about the IGN thing.
Wait, what happened with IGN?
Yeah.
What's his face? The head of the reviews department. I can't remember that guy's name.
Oh God.
He said, want a game console, buy a PC, something like that, along those lines, and it caused a lot of stirring all over the place. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah. I have to look at the stupid article. So that's what he's referring to.
Not an article, just a tweet.
Okay. So he said, if you want a gaming console, buy a gaming PC.
Yeah, something to that effect.
That's
probably what that. It's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing, man. A console, you can only do one thing on it. You know, fucking play games, maybe watch some fucking Netflix or something. A PC, you could do a lot more. You know, like you could do more than just game. I'll stop because I go off on a fucking rant. Yeah. You know, you can do more shit than just fucking play games on a gaming PC, right? You could do regular PC shit on a fucking gaming PC. I hate when people say shit like that. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, you're like, oh, I spent $700 on my console. You spent $3,000. Are you fucking retarded? Oh my God! Wait, the guy was that? Wait, what was it? Ryan McCaffrey? That sounds like a Ryan McCaffrey tweet, bro. Yeah, that sounds like a Ryan McCaffrey tweet. Oh my! Or was it the other guy? Who's the other one that everybody hates from IGN? Destin. No, it was the, whatever the fuck his name is.
Him. It was McCaffrey that said
shit.
it. Yeah, he said.
Oh my God!
To that effect. Yeah.
He must have said that nonsense to get clicks, bro. No fucking way.
Yeah.
It was Ryan McCaffrey, bro. I haven't looked at it, but yeah, Syrian Air Force confirmed.
But it makes sense. He's an Xbox fanboy.
Yeah, you're right about that. When did he tweet this bullshit?
But it's so stupid. You know what else you could do with a gaming PC? You could make a game.
You could make a game.
You could create all sorts of stuff.
You could host a podcast.
Right? This is fucking dumb.
What? You could do all of that.
You could do some drawing like Manny's doing right now. There's a lot. Yeah. You can't do any of that shit. What a dumb Yeah, that is retarded, bro. Mm-hmm. Okay, so is Ryan McCaffrey. Okay, that's the question.
I saw it earlier, and I'm guessing that's what Miss Michael was talking about.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right, so that was fun. All right, the last question of the night. We didn't get a lot of questions this week. Another one from Mr. Dio. This one's kind of interesting because it kind of goes into my favorite type of question, speculative.
You love speculative.
My favorite type of questions, man. But Dio, he ride or die, bro. Dio, this guy's been with us since the very beginning. The Precambrian throwdowns, even. We met him several times. He's local here in New York. Good guy. I think the last time you and I hung out with him, man, was when we went to the Kojima thing. Remember?
What was it called? Game.
The Tribeca film. Yeah, the Tribeca for Death Stranding. Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
And Jordan Minor was with us too. And your friend, what's her face?
Ruby.
Yeah, that was a good day. We went to that place, Black Burger. That was a good place, man. Shout out to Dio. He works for the MTA, which is interesting. I remember he told me one time he saw me in one of the train stations. I think it was the one on 14th Street, 8th Avenue. I was pissed. I was pissed, man. It was, the trains were all being fucked up for me. I was trying to get home, Anyway, this is an interesting question, like I said. Which developers and publishers would you want to create your 3 favorite dream games? So basically, dream game, developer, publisher. So here, but he gives us examples. It's good. He goes, for me, it's a Xenogears remake by Monolith Soft and Square Enix, Darkstalkers versus Guilty Gear by Capcom and Arc System Works, and Symphony of the Night 2 by From Software and Konami. That is very, very imaginative right there. So he's basically asking, like, what would be a dream game and who would be your dream developer and publisher?
I don't know. I mean,
I know. Yeah, I know. I know, man.
I don't really want more sequels or things like that. I'm getting a little sequelitis. Everybody's got like nothing against Dio's choices. Those are his choices, but I just feel like everybody's thoughts automatically go to so and so making a sequel of so and so game. I kind of want something new. I kind of want a new style of game, a new franchise, everything new.
Okay, how about
You know,
like you could be like he in the spirit of the question, but just twisting it a little bit, missing what you did. What about I want a new hack and slash game, new IP from Platinum Games, developed by and published by Square Enix. There you go. New. There you go. New game.
all right, yeah,
Yeah.
I would definitely say that. I'd be like, yes, great. So, I guess by that logic, I would like Yoko Taro to make a
There you
new
go.
title with let's see, who's a pretty solid solid development studio that could support him. With the current Capcom Resident Evil team.
Ooh, that's a
So
good one.
Yoko Taro with the Resident Evil team.
Yeah.
Whatever game he comes to his mind.
And Manny, that's a nice shortcut because Capcom is both the publisher and the developer. So do both.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
Well, Yoko Taro can go anywhere officially. He's not like, granted, he's connected with Square Enix because of the whole Nier series, but there is nothing stopping him from changing his mask and putting on a new one and going to another studio.
Yeah.
Because he can't wear Emil's head because that's a Square Enix copyright.
You could correct me on this because I think he may be working on this, and this is a triple threat because it's all of them. You know, I want a brand new stealth action game by Hideo Kojima from Kojima Productions.
You mean Fizzant?
Yeah, that's it, right? Because I know, yeah,
That's what it.
That's what I want. Yeah.
That's what the title. Well, it's not the title, but it's the working title. I
yeah.
guess.
I want that. I want that good Metal Gear shit, but new. You know. What about the rest of you guys? See, Manny, I think you cracked the code with this one. It doesn't have to be a sequel. It's something brand new. You know.
Yeah, it'd be totally brand new. Another like a title from a creator that you enjoy or a team that you enjoy.
Yeah. Or like you could be like bring back the team that made the original Mass Effect, pair them up with I don't know, the Baldur's Gate people, Balarian, and do some crazy sci-fi stuff, but with that openness of Baldur's Gate 3, you know? Yeah. All right. What about the rest of you guys?
I still would love to see a Castlevania by From Software.
Absolutely.
And maybe bring in Koji Igarashi to
Excuse me?
consult. I wouldn't bring in anyone from Konami. I would just be like, get the license.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then it's Igarashi and From Software. That would be perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Anybody else? I'm going to take that as a no. Yeah.
I actually have an answer.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh, okay. Rich first.
Okay.
I was going to say Tony took my answer, but instead of what Tony said, I want Kojima to outright buy the license to Metal Gear Solid and just bring back Metal Gear Solid. Don't make another game. Just continue the story with whatever direction they're going to go next.
I like that. It's a good one. Yeah. Go ahead, Brian.
I was thinking, because I don't know what studio would be better for this, because they're both kind of good. They both could do it in their own right, but not to the same level if they combined. But I would want DICE and Avalanche to work together to make a Mercenaries game.
Ooh.
Because they both do destruction quite well. Obviously, DICE does it a lot better, but then Avalanche have done a lot more third-person action games with the Just Cause and Mad Max games. So, combining their powers, they should be able to make a good Mercenaries game. Published, we can go Square. Square's fun with publishing random stuff like that.
Yeah, and Square Enix also has to keep their expectations in check for sales, you know?
Yes.
Because they every game has to be 10 million seller, according to them. you know? All right. Carlos, you got any ideas?
Sorry, just got back. What was the question?
Oh, damn. Have I asked this question again? All right, because it's a kind of involved question.
I'll read. I'll read it. Come back to me. I'll read it in the.
No, where
notes.
everybody answered. You're the last one left.
Oh shit.
We were like, where's Carlos at? Basically, what would be your dream game and who would like develop and publish it? It could be something new, could be something old. Example could be, like Dio said, Symphony of the Night 2 from Software and Konami. And like we said on this show, it could be like a brand new hack and slash game from, Platinum and published by Square Enix. So it could be existing or it could be something new. Go ahead, Rich.
If Carlos doesn't have an answer, I have an answer for Carlos.
All right.
Does that answer involve Concord?
Yes, he wants BioWare to make Concord. That'll be phenomenal.
Well, that's my backup answer.
There you go.
I would say, I mean, there's a couple of things that come to mind. The first thing that came to mind, it'll probably be a GTA Mexico.
Excuse me? Órale, puto.
Yeah, I just feel like it'd be a good place, just to different. I always kind of wanted like a GTA in a different country, just to see how it worked. Like, I mean, they did I think the London City stories. I think is that, but nothing too in deep, like like a GTA India, GTA Tokyo, or something like that. That kind of idea would be pretty cool. So, GTA Mexico would be good. Obviously, Rockstar with I would add the OGs, a lot of the OGs back into the development studio.
Dan Houser,
Dan Houser, all those cats. As far as publishing, I mean, yeah,
Rockstar's already Take Two. There you go. By the way, Carlos, do you count like the middle part of Red Dead Redemption? That was set in Mexico, and that's
yeah, yeah, but that's kind
not
of
modern,
Old
though.
West.
Yeah,
it's not that modern. I mean, I would do anything from the 70s on. I think would be 1970s. That would be sort of more ideal.
Yeah.
But I mean, more modern day would be great.
Modern day they do GTA Mexico, that'd be brutal because you would have all the gang shit, fucking people getting like skinned alive and shit, body parts everywhere, government people getting murdered and shit. Like that'd be a wild game, man. Everybody's a bad guy,
Well, and also like the environment is like really crazy. Like you can go from a huge city metropolis, or the pyramids. Like there's a whole bunch of things that are within Mexico, like and they could just do a lot of crazy stuff there. So yeah, that'd be my answer.
Yeah. Cartel coming in end of GTA Mexico would be to cross the border of America. I was thinking the same thing. That's how the game ends. You got to cross the border, climb the wall and shit, or just pretend to be some little kid's parent and get into the country. So yeah, that'd be a wild game, man. All right. That is the last question of the show. Good stuff. Rich, what's coming up on the coalition this week that you're allowed to talk about?
That's a very complex question.
Just like Reggie's questions,
Yeah, there it is. Exactly. Well, first and foremost, we do have the Pirate Yakuza review that Adam has been working on. That will be up tomorrow. So look for that. And of course, there are a lot of other things dropping, some things later this week. So you should stay tuned to thecoalition.com because there may be some thoughts on some stuff that is dropping later this upcoming week.
Yeah, and some of those thoughts may also be shared on Throwdown on Thursday.
There you go.
Yeah, so it'll be a good times, and hopefully we'll be able to answer Reggie's questions, and hopefully he'll pay attention. You know. Yeah. Tony, you said wait for the Steam version of the Legion Go S. Yes, I did say that. That's true. Don't get the current one. Way overpriced. You only pay. It only costs $729 because they have like more like RAM and storage. Like, dude, and the fucking performance isn't that good. Wait for the Steam OS version, bro. You know. All right, so we are done here. So make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Follow us on YouTube. Join the Discord and follow us on your favorite podcast app. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time. You see it now?
Oh, it is good. Hold on. There we go. Now I can see it in perfect. Yeah.
Yes.
It was all blurry before. There you go.
Yes. So if you've listened to the last show, this is the Ninja Turtles Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 7 with the cover by Kari Randolph and myself. Also, next week coming is Naruto Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
All right. Oh, that was perfect. The camera went shitty just as you dropped it. Right.
Boom.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Richard Bailey Jr.
Have a good week, everybody.
And Brian Manjoma.
So Avowed only topped out at 20,000 users over this weekend.
So, Brian, would you consider that a failure or a success?
I don't know what they were expected.
Yeah. And then my other question to you is, are you saying that people are avoiding Avowed?
Possibly. I do think that is the case. But then again, Mecha Break topped out this weekend at 320,000.
Damn.
Jesus.
So
What's Mecha Break? I have no idea.
Mecha Break, yeah, we talked about that game. It's that mech game that turned out to be an online game.
Saying that the gamers disavowed that game? Right. I'm a dad. I can make those jokes.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, Rich, what's up?
There's only 4 words for Avowed. Better than Suicide Squad. So there you go. Yes. They got more players than Suicide Squad, so that has to be a win. There you go.
Yeah. Well, there's another 5 words for it too, Rich. Good enough for Game Pass.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
All right. Okay, guys, we'll see you on Thursday. We'll be talking about some wild things, man, so get ready.